Welcome to Fantasia, home the Melodious. My name's Azallea, and today, gonna be bringing you guys the update to my Dark Lunalight deck. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. So starting off, we're going to be playing one copy of Lunalight White Rabbit. Now, White Rabbit is in this build because the fact that things like Altergeist are seeing a lot of play at events. And Altergeist are a very back row heavy deck. They have a bunch of trap cards they rely on to kind of control the state of the game and to kind of stun their opponent. So if you have something like White Rabbit where you can threaten their back row, like potentially try to bounce it back to their hand, if it goes through, then you're good to go. And if they negate it with something like their protocols and things, well, that's one less thing you have to worry about and that you have to play through when you're going through your main combos and your power plays. So that's why I play one copy of White Rabbit here as like a sort of tech. Now, I'm also playing, of course, 3 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep. She helps you switch out your polymerization, and she helps you recover your Lunalight monsters from your graveyard or your extra deck and add them back to your hand. So you can kind of recover resources while you're going for your fusion plays. Now, the opposite of Lunalight Black Sheep is going to be Lunalight Kaleido Chick, which we're also playing 3 copies of. Now, 3 copies of Kaleido Chick are here because Kaleido Chick, of course, helps you send Lunalight monsters from your main deck or your extra deck to the graveyard, and she takes the name of that if you go for a fusion summon, so she can help you cheat out things like your Panther Dancer or your Leo Dancer. And Kaleido Chick, when she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, helps you add back the polymerization in your graveyard, so you can continuously climb into higher fusions, or just recover some resources and set up for next turn. Now, the one of cards that I play that Kaleido Chick sends to the graveyard are going to be 1 copy of Blue Cat and 1 copy of Crimson Fox. Blue Cat is not really needed at more than 1 because the fact that you don't really rely on her floating effect that much in this build. This build is really good at setting up a first turn defensive field if you open up with the proper combos. So that's why there's only 1 copy of Blue Cat. She's just there so you can Monster Reborn or Perfume her back from the graveyard, double the attack of one of your fusions, and then swing for game. Crimson Fox is here as one like the best first turn targets to send with Kaleido Chick, because not only is it a level 4 to help you make potential rank 4 plays and things like that, but she's also really good in the fact that she helps turn your Panther Dancer into like a pseudo Leo Dancer. She has the targeting protection effect in the graveyard, which is really nice. Alright, but yeah, that's going to be it for these Lunalight monsters. Next off, we're going to go into the ratios for the pendulums, and then the rest of the monsters. So for the pendulums, we are, of course, playing 3 copies of Lunalight Tiger. You have to play 3 copies of Lunalight Tiger because she is the most important card in this deck. She is a recurring monster reborn every single turn, and her pendulum scale effect is actually not once per turn, so if you open multiple, you can use her multiple times as long as you scale multiple of her. And we don't really go for the pendulum summon that much, so, you know, feel free to put her into the pendulum scales as much as you want. Now, the thing is, the extra deck is going to explain why Lunalight Tiger is one of the best cards in the deck right now, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But then we're also playing 1 copy of Lunalight Wolf, and of course 1 copy of Lunalight Wolf, it's for like the big fusion plays. You can make your Panther Dancer, Leo Dancer, but the thing is, most people like to play 2. I just like 1 because you can always send it from your deck to the graveyard with Kaleido Chick, and then you can add it back with your Black Sheep later. So I just don't feel like opening up with it first turn is one of the best things that you can do with it. So that's why I'm going to play 1. Now, for the other monsters that I play the Dark Engine, because this is Dark Lunalights. Now, we play 3 copies of Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is fantastic in this deck. One of the best opening plays that you can go for. Not so strong going second if your opponent has Disruption on the field, because, of course, you're going to go -1 with it if you're discarding a spell card and your opponent negates it. But it's going to be fine if you discarded something like Perfume or Polymerization, because those are cards that have utility in the graveyard or can potentially be added back to your hand with other card effects. So that's why Summoner Monk's still pretty good in this build. We're also playing 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is really powerful because if you use Summoner Monk, you can summon Armageddon Knight from your deck, and then Armageddon Knight can set up your Kaleido Chick. And because Armageddon Knight sends as an effect, not as a cost like Kaleido Chick does, if you send Kaleido Chick with your Armageddon Knight, you can actually add back the polymerization that you discarded with the Summoner Monk back to your hand. So it's just a really nice loop of resources and gets a lot of free advantage on your board to help you go for like link plays and things like that. Now, I cut down Armageddon Knight from 2 to 1 because of the fact that you don't really want to see too many normal summons, and I cut the Armageddon Knight to put the White Rabbit in, and it's been working out pretty well. You don't want to open up with 2 normal summons in your hand because that's going to be really, really bad, and you just can't get those monsters out of your hand quick enough. Okay, and then the Armageddon Knight target is going to be one copy of Black-Rose Zephyros the Elite, or Black-Wing Zephyros the Elite. So Zephyros you can send with Armageddon Knight if you already have Kaleido Chick set up. If you don't have Kaleido Chick set up, prioritize the Kaleido Chick, but Black-Wing Zephyros the Elite is here because we played Curious, and Black-Wing Zephyros the Elite is the best card to send with Curious, aside from something like your Perfume, your Lunalight Perfume. And Zephyros is here because it helps you bounce back your Tigers, lets you use your Tiger again, bounce back your Tenkies, you can use your Tenki again, and things like that. So Zephyros has a lot of good utility, and it puts another body on your side of the field, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that's it for the Dark Engine. Next off, we're going to go into some of the hand traps. So the hand traps that I chose to play in this build are going to be 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and then of course 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now if you don't have Ash Blossoms or you just don't want to play Ash Blossoms, feel free to play something like Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is really good against decks like Goki's, and it's seeing a lot of, it's seeing a rise in play recently. Now you can also play something like Droll and Lockbird, because Droll and Lockbird is really good against the Sky Strikers, which are, you know, I think by the time this video comes out, it should be released in the TCG. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that archetype. It is going to be very, very potent, and if you want to be able to shut them down, things like Veilers, things like Drolls, those hand traps might start going on the rise. So feel free to swap these out for whatever you feel like is necessary for your events that you're attending. Alright, so that's it for the hand traps. Next off, we're going to go into the spell cards. So for the spell cards, starting off, we're playing, of course, 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. This is like the Rhoda for the deck, so you can search out any of your Lunalight monsters except for Wolf, because her level is a little too high. Now we're playing 2 copies of Polymerization, and we're, of course, playing 1 copy of Fusion Substitute. You could play 3 copies of Polymerization if you want. I don't suggest it. I feel like 1 copy of Fusion Substitute is very, very powerful in this deck, because you get that free draw, and you can put back things like your Leo Dancer, your Starving Venom, or whatever from your graveyard back into your extra deck. And even if you don't go for your fusion summons, Kaleido Chick can always just send a fusion from your extra deck to the graveyard. You can use Fusion Substitute to put it back and then just get a free draw off of your Kaleido Chick, essentially. So it is really, really nice to have as like a little utility, little tech card. Okay, so the next card that I play is going to be 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume, of course. Why would you not play the Monster Reborn Searcher for the deck? That's not once per turn at all. Perfume is really great because you can always revive things like your Cat Dancers, your Panther Dancers to put extra damage on board. If you're using, you know, your fusions as materials for Link summons, which isn't going to be very uncommon now, it's actually going to be a very commonplace for Lunalight players to start doing that. And if you don't already do that, you should start doing that, because putting your fusions into the graveyard to free up your extra monster zone to summon other Link monsters and then reviving them back from the graveyard is going to be a very crucial play that you have to start doing from now on if you want to be able to swarm the field with more monsters. So 3 copies of Perfume definitely helps in that regard, and of course Perfume can help you search out your Lunalight Wolf if you haven't already sent it from your deck to the graveyard with something like Kaleido Chick. Now, next off, we're playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave. This card is so good in Lunalights because of the fact that we rely so much on searching, we rely so much on combos, that if our opponent has disruption, it can really hinder our plays and the quality of the field that we can pump out. So 3 copies of Called by the Grave is great for just negating those Ghost Ogres, those Ash Blossoms, Veilers, whatever, right? So it is definitely a fantastic card. It's really good disruption too. It's like a trap card that you can kind of set, and then if your opponent tries to pop off and they have something in the graveyard, banish it, negate their effects. It's really good against things like Gokis and stuff as well, just in general, not even in just terms of the hand trap negation. So that's why I play 3 copies of it. Now we're also playing 2 copies of Pod Desires. You can bump this up to 3. I just find 2 to be completely fine for what this deck does. You don't always need the draw power because this deck has so much searching, but Pod Desires just sometimes helps get us there if we're in a sticky situation. Next off, we're playing 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and we're topping things off with 1 copy of Soul Charge. This kind of goes with this Lunalight Perfume right here. It's just more revival from the graveyard, which Lunalights are great at doing. We have 3 Tigers, 3 Perfumes, Monster Reborn, and Soul Charge. Opening up with the Foreign Revival is very crucial next to your Summoner Monk, so that you can go and establish your very powerful fields. So yeah, that's going to be it for the spell cards, and that's going to be it for the main deck. So next off, we're going to go into the extra deck, and we're going to see all of the new stuff that came out in Flames of Destruction. Alright, so for the extra deck, starting off, we're going to be playing one copy of Underclock Taker. Now, Underclock Taker is really good in this deck, not only because it's a generic Link monster, but because it can help you get rid of Ibli on your side of the field if your opponent's playing some form of Nightmare variant, and they summon Ibli to your side of the field and they lock you out of anything except Link summons. What you can potentially do is just optimally, you'll have like a Kaleido Chick in your hand, you just normal summon that, send something from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, then using your Kaleido Chick and the Ibli, you can go into your Underclock Taker, and it has a down arrow, so it helps you summon your extra deck monsters to that zone. Now, Underclock Taker also helps you lower the attack points of your opponent's monsters, which is of course great for your Panther Dancer to deal a massive amount of damage to your opponent. And yeah, so it's just really good utility overall. Now, the best card to come out of Flames of Destruction for this deck is definitely going to be this card. 2 copies of Firefighting Daruma Doll. Now, the Daruma Doll here requires 2 Beast Warrior or Winged Beast type monsters. So the cool thing about this deck is that all Lunalight monsters are of course Beast Warriors, but Zephyros is actually a Winged Beast. So you can actually use it as a material as well if you're really desperate to make a copy of Daruma Doll. Now, Daruma Doll has the bottom left, bottom right arrows, which is really nice for this deck. So we don't have to wait for like the Dark Attribute Link monster to come out in the TCG in order to, you know, pump out good fields with our Lunalights. Daruma Doll has the effect where you can pop 1 spell and trap card on your side of the field to pop 1 spell trap card on your opponent's side of the field. Now, Pendulum monsters in the Pendulum scale count as spell and trap cards. So, Lunalight Tiger right here, you can pop with your Daruma Doll. Not only are you able to clear out your opponent's back row with this card, but now afterwards, you can use your Lunalight Tiger's effect to special summon a, you know, Cat Dancer, Panther Dancer, or something from your graveyard back to your side of the field. And that's why earlier I said it is perfectly fine to be able to use like your Cat Dancer or your Panther Dancer as a material for a Link summon, because if you're making Daruma Doll, you can pop that Lunalight Tiger in your Pendulum scale, bring that monster back to your side of the field. It doesn't have to be towards one of the markers that Daruma Doll points to because it's coming from the graveyard. You can put them like on the opposite side of the field, whatever, open up your extra monster zones for your other plays, and it is just a fantastic way to help you clear up space and help you swarm the field with some very powerful monsters. Alright, so next off we're playing one copy of Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion. Now, Curious is in this deck because we were playing the Summoner Monk, the Armageddon Knights, the Zephyros, and all that good stuff. And they're all different types. Summoner Monk is a Spellcaster, Armageddon Knight's a Warrior, Zephyros is a Winged Beast, and all your Lunalight monsters are, of course, Beast Warriors. Now, they all have to be of the same attribute, which Summoner Monk, Armageddon Knight, Zephyros, and the Lunalights are, but if you're ever in a need for like a different type and you just ran out of Armageddon Knights or you use your Zephyros, your Underclock Taker here is a Cyberse monster and it's a dark attribute, so that can definitely be used in order to help you get your Curious onto your side of the field, which is really nice. And of course, Curious helps you set up for things like Zephyros, for things like Perfume, things that can help you extend your plays, and then afterwards it mills 3 cards on the top of your deck, so you can potentially hit some really good cards. And if Curious ever leaves the field by like an opponent's card effect or whatever, even if it gets compulsed and put back to your extra deck, you can activate its effect to add any card from your graveyard back to your hand. It could be a monster reborn, could be Soul Charge, could be hand traps, could be other Lunalight monsters, could be whatever. And that's what makes Curious such a powerful card in this build. Now, next off, we're playing one copy of Borreload Dragon, which I don't own a copy of, but Borreload actually helps you get over a lot of fields, and Borreload's really good for helping just steal your opponent's Borreload, and then stealing another monster from them, and then potentially just swinging the game into your favor. But yeah, that's going to be it for the Link monsters. Pretty simple lineup, but next we're going to go into the XYZs. So for the XYZs, there are only 4 of them. We're playing one copy of Evil Swarm Nightmare. Very good card to go first with. It's not once per turn, so you can potentially flip multiple of your opponent's special summon monsters face down. Not really good against Link monsters, because of course you can't flip Link monsters face down, but with all these people trying to, you know, go keys and things, like spamming stuff onto their side of the field, you can flip those monsters face down, and your opponent can't use them for Link summons, so you can potentially shut them out of Link summons. This thing is just not really that good against Link summons, if that makes sense. We're playing one copy of Abyss Dweller. Of course, it's shut down graveyard effects. Gokis are definitely going to be a very popular deck going to the upcoming format, and Abyss Dweller basically shuts down all of their searching effects in the graveyard. One copy of Tornado Dragons here for utility. Of course, you can side deck things like Cosmic Cyclones, Twin Twisters, or anything else that you feel like is necessary. And then we're playing one copy of Brotherhood the Fire Fist, Fist, Tiger King. Now, Tiger King is really good in this deck because of the fact that if your opponent manages to get like a Nightmare Lock on their side of the field, but they've left an extra monster zone open so that you can summon stuff, you can always make Tiger King. And Tiger King has a blanket negation effect where you can detach a material from it and negate all monsters on the field that are not Beast Warrior types. And of course, Griffins, like not the Griffins, the Nightmare cards, I believe they're all like Fiends or something of that sort. So you can just negate all their effects, and then you can just feel free to pop off. Now, Tiger King is also a Beast Warrior type monster, and Tiger King can be used as a material for, of course, your Darumidol. And Darumidol, you know, can obviously help open up some more zones, clears up your extra monster zone, and then you can just pop off with your fusion summons from there. So yeah, that's why I play these as my XYZs. Now, next off, we're going to go into the fusion lineup. Now, the fusion lineup's very standard, just like any other Lunalight build that I have. One copy of Starmie Venom Fusion Dragon. Steals games. Definitely play it. We're also playing for our Lunalight fusions. We're playing 2 copies of Lunalight Cat Dancer. Can't be destroyed in battle, but not really the best to use to attack with because she can get Ghost Ogred because of her mandatory 100 damage burn effect. Oh man, it's ridiculous. I don't know why they put that there, but anyway. We're also playing 2 copies of Lunalight Panther Dancer and 1 copy of Lunalight Leo Dancer. You do not need more than 1 Leo Dancer because Leo Dancer is, if you're summoning Leo Dancer, you're going to win that turn. If you're not winning that turn, something went wrong, and you probably shouldn't have summoned Leo Dancer. But Panther Dancer is going to be the boss monster of the deck that you're going to use to swing into all of your opponent's monsters and potentially wipe out entire fields. But yeah, that does it for the extra deck, and that does it for the deck profile. So, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Lunalight content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.